Hi, everybody. Welcome to Katie in the Morning. I'm Katie Page, Director of Member Relations at the National Association of Healthcare Assistants. I have a little bit of a serious subject to talk to you guys about today. Starting September 15th through October 15th is Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. I just want to kind of look at it from little bit of a different angle today. You hear about awareness of suicide from the veterans coming home from overseas. You hear about it from postpartum depression of mothers. You hear about it among teens. But one thing you don't hear a lot about is our elder generation and the risk of suicide within skilled nursing, especially. So I want to take a little bit of a closer look at that today and just kind of give you guys some tips on what to watch for and give you some of the facts about the forgotten generation. The scary facts: 54% more, that's more than half of the people who died by suicide did not have a known mental health condition. 30% of suicide rates went up more than 30% in half of the states since 1999. That is phenomenal numbers. For people that do not have mental illness, it's harder to kind of define and recognize the signs and symptoms of suicide tendencies. So I want to take a little bit closer look at that as well today with you guys. Nevada is the only state that has seen a decrease in the rate since 1999. You guys can kind of take a look at that graph for a minute. 38 to 58% is in the kind of the dark blue, 31 to 37%. 19 to 30% increase, and then the 6% to 18% increase. And the decrease, as you can see, Nevada is the only one in white on there. The source is right there at the bottom. That just kind of gives you guys kind of an actualization, a visual aid of what it looks like in the United States for the increase in suicide since 1999 to 2016. Suicide is on the rise. And we'll go through some of the causes of that in just a few minutes. But for a minute, let's just talk about the forgotten generation. 14.9% of suicides out of every 100,000 people over 65 in the United States. If you want to kind of break that down, we'll think about it this way. 75.4 million baby boomers is equal to more than 11,000 lives will be lost to suicide annually as the baby boomers reach 65 and older. And as CNAs, the frontline caregivers, and the elder guard taking care of these elderly and frail people, we really have to take a look at what we're supposed to be looking at, things we're supposed to be watching for, and how to help these people before it gets to a point where we are unable to help them anymore. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to kind of look at some of those causes and ways to identify those signs and symptoms.
Watch Grassroots Advocacy with Jeff Wellman. Thursdays at 2:30 Central on CNA TV.
Welcome back to Katie in the Morning. Today we're talking about Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month, which starts September 15th and goes through October 15th. I'm a little late on pulling the trigger here, but I did want to get it out there before the month gets too far ahead and we get into it too much. Let's talk about some of the causes. Some of the causes in the elderly are depression and untreated psychological issues. Substance abuse, we're seeing a huge rise in people that are addicted to painkillers, opioids, narcotics. And they're starting to come out of the hospitals. They're going into like a drying period where they're being taken off of those pain medications, and it's really starting to take effect on them mentally. Social isolation. Let's talk about this one for a minute. So, you're an 80-year-old man or woman. Your children all live out of state. They're not able to care for you on a 24-hour basis. You go from this 4-bedroom acreage, which you've worked your entire life to own. Everything is in this home. You are able to go out in the community. You go to bingo night. You go to the farmer's market. You go to social gatherings, coffee every single morning with all of your friends. One night you fall and you break your hip. They take you to the emergency room. They go through the treatment there and then tell you that you're going to have to go to a skilled nursing facility to recover. So your daughter flies in from Ohio. She comes in, finds a facility for you to go to. They tell you it's only like a 60-day stay until you're able to go home. During that 60 days, you get pneumonia. You fall gravely ill. All of a sudden, you're unable to walk. You're unable to communicate the way that you used to. Your friends are slowly starting to stop coming to see you, and you're starting to feel really withdrawn from the world. You don't want to go out to bingo because it's 3 times a week and you're getting sick of it. The snotty girl on the 3 to 11 shift has an attitude problem and you don't want to deal with her, so you just don't talk to her when she comes in. This is starting to develop a pattern. The pattern turns into a personality. The personality leads to depression. So that's just something to think about when you're thinking about the causes in the elderly. It's not something that happens overnight. Alcoholics don't become alcoholics overnight. It starts with a shot and then works its way up to a fifth of vodka every night. The same way with mental illness. It doesn't just start and then there it is. It's a growing, it's a snowball effect, a domino effect, if you will. So I just want to talk about that social kind of withdrawalness for a second. Pain and physical disability. This is another huge one. We were just talking about it a little bit, and they're losing that ability to walk, that ability to talk, ability to do things for themselves, and that depression sits in. And then the last one, but certainly not the least one, is poverty. You have all these people that have worked their entire lives to build everything that they have, and within a year of staying in a nursing home without Medicaid or Medicare to help them, their entire savings is wiped out. I mean, everything that they have ever worked for is gone. Can you imagine that toll, that toll that it would take, not just physically, but spiritually and mentally on yourself, and what it would take to kind of get over those leaps and bounds to a more a safe and healed place. So let's talk about prevention a little bit. What can we do as CNAs? The first one is to provide social contact. Interact with those people, get them to talk to you, communicate how they're feeling. The next one, talk about their fears. If you have fears, tell them. That's one of the things that people communicate and kind of connect with on a very, very basic level is fear. Everybody has it, whether they want to admit it or not, but kind of expressing those fears. I'm scared because I can't walk anymore. I'm scared because my daughter stopped coming to see me. Just getting that out there in the open and having somebody accept those and communicate those with you will help you heal that tiny little scar that could grow a lot bigger with time. Remind them what is good in life. Celebrate those victories with them. Hey, you took 3 steps by yourself today, or, you got out and you got to see, the birds in the trees and that sort of thing. Even the small victories are still victories nonetheless. Reach out to other organizations. Don't be afraid to research in your community, find what resources are out there to help you give better care to them. And then last but certainly not least, report any changes in behavior immediately. Don't let it slide by day after day until it grows into this big problem, and then all of a sudden you have a big problem on your hands. As CNAs, we are the eyes and ears for the elderly and frail and the disabled. So while we're out there working, really keep those eyes and ears open. Charting behaviors, charting changes in their bowel and bladder is a huge one. Anything that they're doing out of the ordinary, don't just skim by it. So let those yellow flags fly high this month, suicide prevention and awareness. I thank you guys all for joining me today, and I will see you right back here tomorrow for Katie in the Morning.